Yeah, here I am. Here we are. Yes, another week.
If you bring a non-African, you and the non-African will be escorted out.
All right, clap if you think she's just tougher.
I was supposed to put them bitches in their place, and that's what I did 24/7.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular.
Hello hotties and welcome back to another video. If you've seen my previous upload about unnecessary members in K-pop groups, you know by now I have impeccable taste. If it upset you, then clearly you don't understand what an opinion is, and this one isn't for you either, so I'ma wait for you to click out. Now that only normal, mentally well-balanced people are here, let's get into it. I'm gonna be talking about why I think aespa's potential is being wasted by both SM and the members. I'll discuss their strengths first and then their weaknesses second, because I know that's what y'all wanna hear and I gotta keep my watch time up. aespa's biggest strength, and I think we can all agree on this, is Karina. She's very well-rounded and probably the best idol to come out of the fourth generation, which isn't saying much considering fourth gen is all about looks over substance or talent, but still. She's got a very pretty voice that lends well to their music. It's powerful enough for some high notes but not too much to the point where it's overpowering when she's singing in verses. She's a good enough quote-unquote rapper, when the producers give us something resembling mediocre flow. Like in Savage, she ate. She really did. Karina's a great dancer. She devoured Black Mamba all while giving us spicy bad bitch expressions. She's a real ace, and when aespa inevitably disbands or gets locked in SM's dungeon for their next girl group, I think Karina will dominate as a solo artist. She has a very intense gaze that I think benefits her a lot during performances, but the topic of stage presence will be talked about later. Y'all don't need me to tell you right from the jump that none of these girlies mastered the art of performing. Next up, Ningning, the woman that you are. The vocal prowess that you have. Sickening. Her voice is so stunning and she's stunning and I want so much more from her, but that's gonna be talked about later. Winter is also an incredible vocalist. I like Ningning's voice better. I feel like she has a more melodic color, but there's no denying Winter can be a powerhouse singer with time, work and effort. Their tones complement each other a lot, and I think it's great that they both share the heavy notes in each song equally. For example, Black Mamba's high notes were sung by Ningning with Winter's backup, while Savage switched it up so Winter got the role. I know some people don't like that because Ningning is considered the main vocalist despite the girls not technically having fixed positions, and I can see why it would piss off the Ningning stans. But I think it's a good decision in the long run because it allows both of them to improve vocally and evolve as singers without being overworked or underutilized. Another good thing about aespa, I fear, is that they always try to have one memorable move in their choreography that's easy to market and easy to perform by the general public. Think of IOI's Very Very, Twice as Fancy, any of Blackpink's comebacks since As If It's Your Last. They all have very catchy choreographies in their chorus that became mainstream and very popular. aespa attempts that with every comeback, but I think Savage and Black Mamba were their most effective tries. Gimme gimme now zoo 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 movement slapped. We was all doing it, don't lie. Whether or not their choreographies are well received or even pretty and well made is something to be talked about later in the video. But it's a fact that many of their chorus moves are known widely. When it comes to dancing, I think all of them except Giselle are great in a technical sense. I'll talk about the fourth member later, but Karina, Ningning, and Winter execute the movements properly. They're smooth and light, airy yet powerful when needed, and they're always on beat. As I said, the choreography itself isn't outstanding and has some weak points I'll explain in the second segment of the video, but when it comes to performing the choreography alone, they do a good job overall, with the exception of Giselle, who's clunky at times. We can't talk about aespa without bringing up pretty privilege. Karina especially has been praised a lot over how pretty she is, seeing as she's literally the Korean beauty standard. The other girls are also of course gorgeous and conventionally attractive, and it shows especially in their promotional photos. Their outfits are almost always pretty and flattering, the one area SM doesn't cheap out on. Furthermore, their music videos are generally really well produced and aesthetically pleasing. Like every other fourth generation group, aespa gets cut a lot of slack for their shortcomings because of the members' looks and the overwhelming effort placed in their aesthetic to the detriment of other areas they need to work on. K-pop sure tells us over and over again that before you even open your mouth to sing or put on your shoes to dance, you gotta be hot. Their unique and weird concept is both a curse and a blessing. I think it's a good move from SM to appeal to people who enjoy lore and extravagant fantasy, although I think the AIS aren't really appreciated by anyone. The community that can be built around aespa's lore is a good idea, allowing hardcore stans to get really invested in a storyline they can't get from any other group. It also encourages casual listeners who really enjoy the music to dig deeper into aespa and learn more about them in order to understand the words they use in their songs and the imagery of their music videos. That of course increases the chances and numbers of hardcore stans, and it all comes back to more cash in SM's increasingly skinny pockets. But of course, that's a double-edged sword. Finally, the last strength I have to talk about when it comes to aespa is their music that, like their concept, is both a good and bad thing. I personally feel lukewarm about experimental music. I think it's always good for producers and artists to try new things and create unique, unheard of before products. Some experimental K-pop songs are bangers, and SM groups are definitely in the lead and innovators when it comes to whack-ass music. Cough cough FX. Similarly, aespa's hyperpop sound is really unique and sets them apart from nearly every other group in the industry. You can hear a segment of an aespa song and know immediately it's them, because who else has such a disjointed electro girl boss sound? In some of their songs, this works greatly in their advantage because they be giving us these occasional bops. Like Savage Again, I won't stop bringing it up, alright y'all, just get used to me raving about how much this song goes off. Other times, their music, how shall we say, sucks ass. Now on to their weaknesses. To continue the topic of their music and concept, I think it's fair to say their music is not easily digestible. To a member of the general public who's not particularly into K-pop, it just sounds like messy loud bad EDM with even worse attempts at rap. Can you tell I really wish they'd stop trying to rap? It makes my ears bleed. Anyway, while they do stand apart from other groups because their music is heavily electronic, it also makes it harder to appeal to a public outside of South Korea, where I know they're doing well but they're flopping so bad with Western audiences. I don't blame these audiences, to be honest. Like the first time I heard Next Level, I was outraged at how terrible it is. I still am. LMAO, somebody get these girls out the studio until SM promises it'll never make anyone rap other than Mark Lee ever again. Haven't we Negroes suffered enough? Not to mention how unappealing their concept is to casual listeners of the general public. Believe it or not, the grand majority of people don't stan artists lol, like we don't give a shit about lore and concepts. We just want banging music. I truly couldn't care less what aespa's storyline is, because I'm not a K-pop stan. I just like listening to good music and watching cool performances. So when someone like me, aka most people outside of fandom spaces who will stream literally anything if it's by people they wanna fuck, when we hear gibberish in songs and Dwangaya and Sync Dive popping up every 10 words, we roll our eyes and click out. Even faster when the song sounds like shit. Sorry, misillusion and dreams come true. And in the spirit of fairness, sorry to girls too. The chorus slaps but the verses are stank. Look no further than their Coachella performance to see how the only people bopping were the pre-existing aespa fans in the forefront rows. Everybody else was thinking, who the hell are these girlies and why does their stage feel like a sleepy seizure? It wouldn't matter that much that aespa's doing badly in the West if it weren't for how much SM wants them to pop off in America. The fact that they're barely a 2-year-old group and have already performed at Coachella and tried to break into Western music charts and failed is honestly pathetic. LOL, SM needs to work on their priorities. Let these girls first establish a name for themselves in their own country before you try to outsource a difficult genre of music like electropop to the US, where it's already unpopular. Then you might have a chance, but I genuinely doubt aespa will ever make it big in the US. It's simply not the right audience for their music. Nobody here wants to bop to My Navis We Love You. Nobody here can even recognize whose AI is who. Second, we gotta talk about their performances. Girl, I fell asleep so many times making this video and having to see their stages because holy fuck do they look like zombies. It's baffling to me how these girls are deadass good singers and dancers but haven't given us a single facial expression since Black Mamba. They have absolutely no charisma on stage. They're just pretty faces robotically performing memorized moves, and once in a blue moon someone will smirk then drop it cold. The entire fourth generation of K-pop has so little stage presence, but aespa might be one of the worst. I've seen a video claiming their stans are saying it's on purpose and they're intentionally being passive robots because of their AI concept. But that's just bullshit. LMAO, they were doing just fine in Black Mamba and it ain't like their concept changed. They're so boring to watch because they seem so disengaged from the entire experience, like they're just doing homework and trying to get through the stage so they can go home. On top of that, they've had like 4 live performances in 2 years. It's pathetic. They're good singers in the studio. I don't know if they stay lip-syncing because they're really unstable live like in Coachella or if it's to focus on the choreography, but I doubt it's the latter. Speaking of the choreo, girl, why does it look so bad on stage? Y'all were right when you said their dances are designed to only look good in music videos. The only word I think accurately describes their choreographies is stagnant. Empty. They barely move around the stage. They haven't had backup dancers since Black Mamba. They've had little to no props and their background screen thing has nothing to do with the performances 9 times out of 10. It's an overall flaccid event when they perform. Not to mention how bad their lip syncing is, it just lowers the quality of their stages even more. They're all low energy dancers, so coupled with the stagnant choreography, it's just bad, ladies, it's just bad. Another reason why their stage presence is off, I fear, is because they don't have a particularly spectacular dancer. With the exception of Giselle, who's a stiff weaker dancer, the other girls are at the same skill level. Karina's technically the main dancer, but she doesn't elevate the group because she didn't get that position due to her amazing abilities. She got it because in comparison to the other girls, she's only slightly better. So to recap, their performances lack any flavor or spice, they're all blank-faced and mechanical, their choreography's stagnant. And SM's a cheap bastard who won't give them backup dancers or props just to liven the stage a little. Also, if they don't start singing live soon, they're never ever going to be good performers. 2 years of lackluster choreographies and unconvincing lip-syncing gives me a lot of doubt that any of them will get better down the road. The last thing I want to touch on is Giselle's anti-blackness. It's gotten to the point where I'm not even a little bit surprised to see a non-black so-called rapper be racist towards black people or black culture. Y'all will use our music, our hair, our vernacular, our expressions, our culture all for your own monetary gain and to have a career of your own, and then y'all won't even be good at it. Y'all won't even be good rappers. Y'all won't have no flow or spice. Y'all won't write a single bar on your own. And then you'll have the audacity to smile real wide and say nigga on camera. You'll lean your face real close to the lens and grin and say nigga with your whole chest. She's the only one in the group who's fluent in English. She's the main quote-unquote rapper. And I'm supposed to believe she said the N-word while making direct eye contact with the camera and singing along to a black woman's song by mistake? I'm supposed to believe it was an accident and she doesn't do this routinely behind closed doors, even when Karina and Giselle, who ain't even fluent in English, knew to keep their mouths shut? LMAO. Nah, I don't buy that shit one bit. The audacity to be the weakest dancer and singer and a bad supposed rapper, then also be anti-black. Throw the whole girl out. Her apology wasn't even a little bit regretful or showing that she's reflected on shit. It was her saying she's sorry she slipped and said it on camera because for a second she forgot black people will actually be watching this shit and she's cool with saying it in private. Miss Giselle and her racist defenders can kiss my black and brown ass.